The union view.
Gonna make it work. Our unions make it work.
The union view. The union view.
Gonna make it work. Our unions make it work.
The Union View. Hello, welcome to the Union View. I am your host, Gina Miller, and today we are here with my guest, Keith Johnson from 1199, organizer at Montefiore Medical Center here in the Bronx, New York. Our topic today is Barack Obama. Keith, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Gina. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to make it back.
Yes.
And want to talk a little bit about your trip. I know you went to two of the battleground states.
Correct.
During the campaign.
Ohio and Michigan.
Ohio and Michigan.
Right.
And as we know, I'm sure, I mean, everybody knows by now that we beat, big time in Michigan and in Ohio, and you guys did a great job. So how long were you out in the battleground?
I believe it was about 45 to 48 days.
Wow. Okay.
I left out August 28th, and I arrived in Troy, Michigan, that Sunday, the 29th, and I left out of Cleveland, Ohio, the day after the election, after we wrapped it up.
Wow. So I'm looking at, I'm not sure if this is from Cleveland or...
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this poster.
Well, when I first arrived in Cleveland, Ohio, at our headquarters there, I saw this poster, and I said to myself, I got to get this poster because this is history. And not only is it history, I've took videotapes of showing people, our citizens standing on the lines, early voting, and it's historic. It brings you to tears to even talk about it because it's a moving situation. Everybody really took it to task to say that, listen, we had to do this. So this poster is a reminder to show folks that, listen, this actually happened. This is not no fictitious thing. This is reality.
Right.
It's reality.
So in Ohio, people were able to early vote in person.
Correct.
And this poster actually encourages people to vote. It says, vote now, make
Correct.
history, vote now.
Right.
And I heard that there were a lot of people who voted early.
Correct.
All across the country. And that made a major difference, I believe, in the outcome of the election.
Correct. Because on early voting history was, especially in Ohio, the previous year before, folks had to stand on lines and they was closing the polls down on them. So they voted into law. Part of correcting the process was to do early voting, and everybody took advantage of it. A lot of folks were skeptical, but a lot of folks did, because in Ohio you have the bad weather, you have the Great Lakes there, and you have real bad weather. So a lot of folks took advantage of it, and it turned to our advantage, and the Barack Obama campaign took it to their advantage because they were doing this since the beginning of the summertime, telling folks about early voting, of the process, and constantly educating the citizens and say, listen, if we want to do this, we're going to have to do this through early voting. It spread not only through Ohio, it went to other states, and that's how we was able to pull out this victory.
Right. And it's really important, education. And I found that to be true also in Virginia, because where I was in Virginia. Before going to Virginia, I went to Pennsylvania every weekend. And in Virginia, where they didn't call it early voting because they didn't have early voting in Virginia. But what they did have in Virginia was absentee ballot in person. And that's for people who were physically unable to stay on the long lines. And so while in Virginia, it was really, it was phenomenal. So we went from Norfolk, Virginia to Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach. It was like night and day, because in Norfolk we were in the projects, And then in Virginia Beach, in the Hampton Roads area, we were in, more middle-class neighborhood where it was more of a mixture, more different ethnic backgrounds. You had the Filipino community there, and we, Maria and I, worked a lot in the Filipino community, and we were able to distribute the Tagalog literature. And Tagalog is the language of the Philippines, and able to distribute literature on the Obama campaign and information about the views that Obama had on different issues in the Tagalog dialect, which was very, very helpful. But in the Norfolk area, we met a woman who was very, I would say, she didn't want to really anticipate or expect for us to come and pick her up. So when she said, I'm not going to vote because I haven't voted in years, we offered to pick her up and take her to vote. And so she didn't want to really expect us to go and pick her up, but then at the same time, she really wanted us to come. So we went and we picked her up, and, and she was shocked, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you're here. I said, well, we told you we would be coming, so, we're here. She said, well, I'm already ready. I took my bath already. I'm eating my sandwich and I'm ready to go. So we, got her, put her in the car, went over to City Hall. And the line was unbelievable. I mean, snaking all around. It was unbelievable how many people were there. And this was at 10 o'clock in the morning. We stayed there for 3 hours with her. And she voted, and she was so happy. And we were, of course, to me, she's happy. Everybody else is happy. But for those who are working out there in the field, and I'm sure you know this, the happiness is, putting it lightly. We can't even express in words. We could say, oh, I'm happy, but that is not a big enough word to describe, the depth of what you feel, doing this type of a work. So when we took her to vote and, she was happy that she voted, Maria and I were in tears because it was beyond happy. And so I am going to send you some pictures. I'm sure you saw the story on the website. Yeah. And it's on the 1199seiu.org. And it's a snapshot from the Obama campaign.
Right.
So, and her name is Fozy Glass, and I promised her that I would talk about her on the show. So, Miss Fozy, you did make history, and we got you on the website, and we also are talking about you on the Union View. And I'm going to, go and see her again when inauguration time comes around, because she is special, and she really, touched my heart. So now, while I was in Virginia, Keith, I got a couple of emails, I think more than a couple of emails and pictures from you, and telling me about how things were and the foreclosures that you saw, the houses that were being foreclosed, and the devastation as far as the financial ruin that a lot of the cities that you visited were in. And I'm wondering, do you have any information on that topic about how the people were actually living in the states that you went to?
What I did was I brought a little thing to our little program right here.
Okay.
For our viewers to see. As you can see this, it says here, sale, and it gives you the number where you could call, and it says the number of $500 down, $200 a month. Now, mind you, this was up and down Cleveland, Ohio, in some of the better neighborhoods and the not so better neighborhoods where you saw these foreclosures. As we are standing here today in December, there are far more homes that have been
Don't make it
foreclosed.
work out, unions make it work.
The Union View. The Union View.
Don't make it work out, unions make it work.
The union.